Good evening. Welcome to the City of Bloomfield Hills City Commission meeting for January 13th, 2026. Happy New Year to everybody. We're excited to start a new year. The first item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. Everybody please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Second item on the agenda for tonight is the consent agenda. Do any of the commissioners have any questions?
Mayor, I see the, or thank you again, Dave, I see the expense for the lighting in the parking lot. Thank you again for doing that. The salt was 6,000 on page 1, Detroit Salt Company. That's just our annual purchase, correct?
Yes, we purchase as we need it, and we go through a bid process to where they guarantee so much salt for us every year, but we don't purchase it until we need it. So actually, we've actually used a lot of salt already this year. It's a strange year for salt.
Well, because we had that storm at Thanksgiving and more
Yes.
snow than we normally do.
It shows up again on page 5, so what is that line item, the 8,800? Page 5, middle of the page. Bulk de-icing salt. Sandra, I'm just seeing it twice, so I don't know what. Maybe it's just a separate.
On page 5, who's the vendor? I'm sorry.
Page 5 of
and
7,
halfway
right in
down.
the middle.
Mhm.
It's probably just an accounting.
Detroit
Oh,
salt.
I see it. Yep, that's Detroit salt. That's another
same thing.
purchase for salt, yes.
So you, it looks like you've designated it, which I like, on the page 2 of 7, you had it looks like 102 tons, 102.28 for November. And then I take it in December again, you did 152?
Yes.
Okay,
Our foreman will order it as he uses it. He'll replenish it, and that's the quantities that we
Okay.
purchased.
does
Okay.
that stay over the summer? Or do
Yes,
you
it
have to
does.
manage it correctly?
The building that we have there right now holds 400 tons, and they can use anywhere between 30 tons on a light event and up to 100 tons. They really need a lot of salt. And so as they need it, he'll go down to maybe a couple hundred tons, and he'll order more.
So he does
So there
order
was
it
a
throughout the
bit-
year. I guess I thought he ordered it all in the beginning. I don't know how much salt costs.
Just to get the price, we go through a bid process to get that guaranteed price, and we have to guarantee them that we'll purchase so much throughout the year. And we'll have no problem this year doing that, but then he orders it as we need it, and then we pay them that bid salt price per ton as we need it.
Gotcha. And then the sewer lining project was almost 200,000.
Yes, it's all part of the budget that we have, which is, it's an overall, I think, this year is a $600,000 budget, approved budget by the city.
Yes.
Yes.
So is that a final payment? It says number 3?
No, we have a number 4 that we just paid this week, and then there'll probably be one more to finish it off.
Yeah.
So was this a big one? Because this was, if it's 600,000, this was like a quarter of the entire
Yeah,
budget.
and it'll be like over a 2-year period, so I think it's about a $1.2 million project, and sometimes they'll be able to get through some of it faster because it's lining some of the pipes, and some of them they have to dig it up. It takes a little longer, so there'll be some variations in payments.
Thank you for clarifying.
Do you have anything else?
No, I think
Okay.
I'm good with that. Thank you.
You know, I asked you a minute ago about, before we started, about what we do with our money. I see we got $6 million in the Oakland County, so we have $1 million of cash of our own. You know.
Yeah, I think it's probably in Chase Bank.
Yes.
Okay. Are we pushing them on interest at all? You can tell them, when it used to be 1%, I didn't care, but I mean,
Yes.
are they giving us the 1.5% while they loan it at 5% to the stock brokerages?
It's a very small amount that we received with Chase Bank. That's why we invested with Oakland County pooled.
Have you ever asked Chase to give you a better interest?
I have not had that conversation, no.
I just, I know Chase is like, that's,
It's not a bad idea, so
It's-
we'll absolutely do that.
Absolutely, yeah.
thanks. Would be 30 grand a year if it's,
Yeah, sure, it's a great
It's a lot of money,
idea.
yeah, thank you.
fine money.
I proposed some changes to the minutes from the regular meeting last month. I don't know if anyone has any questions, but to the infamous board and commission appointment section, I asked that Amy add in what I said, just because I thought it completed the whole narrative there, where I added in that I responded that because the mayor's appointments were subject to the city commission's approval, a meeting discussion with the mayor herself was appropriate. I said that, and like I said, I just think it flows better, that's kind of the way it happened. And the other change that I made was to the very end of the,
So I'm not seeing a new,
Oh,
Set of
it's-
minutes.
Did you,
I didn't get a new packet.
You can have
were
mine.
sitting at your seat. Here, would you like?
There was nothing here when I sat
You
down.
can have mine.
maybe I grabbed yours.
Oh, thanks, Dave.
the other amendment was to the very end of the meeting, when Commissioner Ackerman discussed his views on potential sites in the city that may be considered for redevelopment in the future. I think it originally said that the commission discussed it, and that really wasn't how it happened. This was actually after we went into the closed session and came out, but it was not on camera, so I think it's important to be accurate here. Commissioner Ackerman presented his views, but there wasn't any discussion from the other members of the commission after he did that. So it originally had said that the commission discussed. So I just wanted to be accurate. Like I said, since it wasn't on camera, I think it's important.
It's fine. There's something else, I sort of tried to interrupt you while the meeting was ongoing, and we gave a permission on a specific sign on Woodward, and I want to make sure it's clear on the record, I approved putting that kind of sign in that specific circumstance, because I didn't feel it was safe. I had driven Woodward that evening, and I didn't feel that people were properly giving notice of that entry of that street, and I think we all agreed on, I think we sort of, and that was the reason, my major reason for varying from what we do for sign regulations otherwise.
You have that noted?
That is under number 90 in the minutes.
Okay,
It's after the motion.
okay. Okay, thank you.
It is.
Oh, wait.
Okay. She did mark that, did you see that?
Yeah,
Commissioner?
it was
Yeah.
number 9, yeah,
Yeah.
please.
Any questions? Okay, I have just a couple then. Mr. Fisher, you stole all mine. There is, a safety sign, this is on page 407, Sandra. It's 4-way street sign brackets, 50% deposit. Those aren't for the new ones, are they? Or-
Yes.
That's for the new signs?
Yes.
Oh,
We'll put an order in, we have to put 50% down,
okay.
so we'll get them in maybe 6-7 months. And we'll
Wow.
have to pay the rest, yeah.
That long?
What page was that on?
407, at the very bottom there, was $6,437. Very bottom. Page 507, there's internet data for Cranbrook we paid. There's 2 line items. They're small, but I just wondered.
There's 2 because it was for 2 months. Usually we pay each month, but one got skipped unintentionally. So it's usually just around $250 a month, but that is for the security for Cranbrook, that public safety
that you
Use it.
use? Do they pay us for it? Why
Ties
did,
into our dispatch center.
ties into our dispatch center? So it's a cost to us.
But they actually, I don't remember the dollar amount, I will look into it and let you know, but they did, pay us, I think it was a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, upfront. So let me gather that information and I'll let you know.
Okay, I was just thinking,
Should
they
be
don't
the other
pay.
way around.
Yeah.
They've definitely paid, but, the dollar amounts escape me right now. It was meant to, you know, pay upfront for a number of years.
Yeah, if you could follow up on that, that would be
Absolutely,
great, yeah,
yes.
that would be good to know. And then page 6 of 7, we have these voided checks again. Do we need a
Yes.
new machine?
No, they got stuck in the printer when the clerk was printing them.
Do we need a new printer?
Yeah, that's happened.
Actually, now that I remember, these just got flipped. Her printing settings got changed and they were upside down. So
Oh,
we
okay,
just
because I know this happened last year too, we had several voided checks,
Yeah.
okay. Okay, and then my, I really took some time, not that I don't take time, but, I was, looking at the revenue and expenditures report, that you put together and you sent out to us. Dave, I just don't understand this, so, under the licensing and permits, when we have building permits, we're showing an ending balance, this was at our fiscal year, which was June of, last year, of 596.
Which page are you on?
I'm sorry, page 1 of 7, under revenue and expenditures report.
Okay.
So, that's a lot, right?
596,000?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, what we believe should be in the building fund, if that's what you're asking, is about that.
About that?
Yeah, because we've kind of went back and forth with this over the years, and Sandra, I think, is comfortable with about 500 to 600,000, just in case we have any issues, we have to come up with funds. It's perfectly, legitimate, legal for the state of Michigan, and that's kind of the target we just try to keep.
That's what I wanted to know, is it a target? There we go, so that's
Yeah.
what you're trying to shoot for, is
Yeah.
that, we're about 40% there, right?
Yes.
Budget used, okay.
Yes.
Another question I had was going further down, charges for services, planning commission fees, what is that to Giffords Webster, or what is that? It was 12,000 or 13,000?
Those are revenues that we collect for, the planning commission fees, right?
You're on the
So-
revenue side?
Yes, yes, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
So what is, I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
Collect from people that are trying to get their house approved.
Oh, so those are the collections that, that's the money we collect from them, right?
Correct, yes.
Okay, and then, can I ask, what is that same area charges for services, a right-of-way fee?
That's for, so when folks wanna work in the right of way, it could be Consumers Power or DTE, they have to obtain permits through us. And they have to, make sure that they restore it, and so there's a process, administrative process to make sure they do what they do. At times, we have an engineer to make sure if they go into the road, they have to replace it with the specifications. So there's a cost to that, and that's.
Oh, that's good. That must be what the charges for service public safety, when you're using public safety.
Yes.
Very good, I like that. And then under Sandra, page 2 of 7, under other revenue, refunds and rebates, give me a general idea what that would be?
So MMRMA might be an example, our, property and, casualty insurance. So if we had, we're in a pooled insurance program, so if they have excess funds, they, refund us, or they provide us with a rebate each year.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay, good to know. And that one you already answered. All right, I know, this is a strange one, but, so the buildings and grounds, we're spending money on phones. Do we need a landline? I understand we need a landline for the city, but do you need a landline over there, John? Doesn't everyone use cell phones now?
No, well, I mean, you're probably just talking about the phones in the city.
Yeah.
It just says telephone, $6,000.
This says telephone, $6,000. Original budget was $7,500. And this is only for building and grounds maintenance.
What is that, Sandra? To be honest with you, I don't know exactly that one.
No, I think that that's just, our telephone
Hey?
throughout. It's not really like for, you know.
Oh, you just have it underground,
Yes,
but it's
the
for,
building, yes.
for everything.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean, I
for-
understand why we need a landline here, so
Right.
that's not a problem.
Yeah.
I just saw that and I'm like going, why do we pay?
Sure.
I mean, everybody uses cell phones now.
Yeah, just, people call in.
Yeah, when people are calling in and asking and stuff like that, yeah, okay. Okay, Sandra, off the hook on budget numbers. Chief, I like your report that you did on, with the Lasser Road in the school, the middle school. Are you gonna give us an update later on, in other business?
I can give you an update to this point, but because of the school closing and some of the things associated with the school being off, we wanted to ask for some more time to gather appropriate data. Not only for the school children that are crossing from the subdivision, but the traffic flow when school's in session.
Oh, 'cause it was Christmas time and everybody was out and, yeah, okay, so further work to be done in discussions?
Yeah, school couldn't meet with us the school and the SRO couldn't meet with us this week because they were getting back into session and they wanted to ask for another week to set a meeting with us to discuss.
Oh, okay. All right, and then also I just wanted to publicly recognize Sergeant Corrigan for representing the department at the wreath laying ceremony at the National Cemetery honoring veterans that was hosted by the American Red Cross. Well done, Sergeant. Letting him know, thank you for doing that. Okay, Jamie,
Yes, ma'am.
you knew I wasn't gonna let you off the hook, right?
Not after you went through everybody else, I can say my
In your report, I see that the third application of chip seal to be completed summer of 2026. Is that still?
Yep, so we have the maintenance contract for Trowbridge for the last chip seal, and that'll be done next year. Weather permitting, spring. Can't do it when it's super hot, can't do it when it's super cold, so we hit that window, Dave and staff have been, Jamie have been monitoring that.
Okay, but this is funded, is this correct, or do we owe for it? We already funded it.
Yeah, well, it's been funded through the SAD, and so we'll have the money to pay for it we'll pay for it when they do it.
Is there any thought to putting it off until all of this construction is completed, because they're just tearing up the road? I don't think it's meant for like 18-wheelers, like 20 of them a day coming and going.
Well, it's a good point. I know that the mayor had talked about our own road program to hold off on some parts of the city. We're gonna continue that in the spring, but yeah, we certainly will look at that in the spring to see where these homes are at. I think there's about 3 new homes being built in that subdivision that are, the roads get tore up from that. Yeah.
And there's also some renovations going on. I couldn't believe this. A guy's truck with this, it had a pole on it that was about 40 feet high that was pulling in and out yesterday. Went right over their house. I don't know what that was, but that was a renovation. And there's like 1, 2, 3, I think there's 4 houses being constructed.
And Amy, do you know of others that are coming down the pipe?
Not that I'm aware of in Trowbridge, no.
It would be nice
Just
if,
approved 2 at planning commission.
We did, we just approved
Today?
2 big ones today,
No,
yeah.
They're still under construction for at least a year, so,
That's probably a good point. Maybe we should put this off, Dave.
you know, the
Jamie?
chip seal is kind of delicate. It's not,
We could,
you know,
we could.
I think it's best to see what happens over the winter. And then
Well,
if
it's
it's
already
falling apart,
happening.
Yeah, that's good. But my question would be is when has construction ever stopped in the city for long enough to slide this in, right? So I think because of the SAD and the timing of the SAD, the timing of the fundings, I don't think we can put this off indefinitely. I think it's something that needs to
No.
happen.
no,
We'll review it in the spring and see
yeah.
if we can avoid some streets or do half and half or something,
I
but.
think we should, because some of these are major houses being.
could you delay the period of the SAD?
No, that SED's been set, the financing's been set, the dollars have been set, it's been on the tax rolls, I don't think we can delay any of that, but the question is, we're starting to collect that money, and how fast do we need to use it to avoid any kind of problems? So, I think your point is excellent, and we keep talking about that, various roads over the years, but then as soon as we delay a year, then 4 more houses pop up, and we just perpetuate. So let's look at it in the spring with Dave.
Yeah,
Jamie, and
we may be able to do some
we're pushing off
half
these
measures, you know, to shore up some areas that are bad, but hold off on that actual chip seal. We could do things like that. Well, yeah, we'll work on that.
That's an idea.
Thank you.
We should make smart choices with that, because you're right, construction is, and it never ends, but at the same time, if you can delay it. Yeah. Good suggestion. Okay, that was all the, questions I had. Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll move to approve the consent.
Second.
All those in favor?
Before
Aye.
the vote's taken,
Oh,
did you want to, amend the consent agenda regarding the minutes, or,
oh, see, for the amended one?
right?
Sure, would you please?
Including the amended minutes
Yeah.
that were
Second.
present on our
And,
table.
yes, and the other thing I should mention in, the correspondence, just so everybody wanna say it out loud, because it wasn't approved at the last meeting, is, but, cause I failed to tell Amy, Commissioner Baxter, has agreed to be the city commission representative on the ZBA for the 2026 calendar year. Okay?
Motion including that as well.
Yes, okay. So, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, next item on the agenda. Recognition of citizens in the audience. Individual comments are limited to 3 minutes per person. These are usually, items that are not on the agenda this evening. Do we have anybody in the audience? Okay, keep that silence there. Fourth item on the agenda, the commission will consider the selection of a residential solid waste and recycling contractor to initiate contract negotiations. Dave, can you, set the stage for us in what we are to determine today?
Yes.
And why, please?
We sent out the city sent out an RFP to request some interest for solid waste removal companies. They're interested in entering into a contract with the city for that service. And there was 2 companies that responded to the RFP. One is Express Waste Removal Services, and one is Priority Waste Removal Services. Priorities currently provides that service for the city, and Express is a newer company. So when the RFP response came back, I looked at both responses and developed a comparison and analysis of the responses, and then we provided a bid tabulation back to both companies. At this time, the city administration wants to ask the city commission to consider one of the 2 companies, and as I said in my memo, probably some of the things that the city commission should consider is the overall value of each, in the overall value of each proposal is the cost, the service scope, the operational capacity, customer service practices, the ability of the contract to define performance expectations and accountability. And so, at this stage, if the city commission would want to discuss what they expect and want to see in one of these 2 companies, I know we have representatives from both the companies here that can discuss and answer any questions that the city commission may have. Once the city commission makes a decision on which company they want to choose to go into contract negotiations, that time that I would work with the city attorney and ultimately the company that the city commission chooses to complete a contract, which would be brought back to the city commission for approval. So I was hoping today that the city commission could discuss, ask questions of the 2 companies if they have any questions, and make a determination of which company they would like to go with. The current contract with Priority ends March 31st, and so April 1st we would need a new, or at least a continuation of the current waste removal provider. to continue on with the service.
Okay. So you want us to ask questions of them for, we have what's
Yeah.
in the packet and.
Yes, I was hoping that if you have any questions of me, of the information provided, or any questions of individual companies, and maybe a discussion amongst each other of what's important to you, that you want to make sure occurs with one of these companies, and then maybe they can hear that and provide responses to your satisfaction during this process. It would help I think it would help. And so I know we have a representative, at least one from Priority here, Dan Benet, and then I think several from Express that are here willing to answer any questions that you have.
Do we ask them do we talk to one first and the other second, or do we ask them both the question at the same time? What's the process for it?
I think maybe the best process is to have one come up and then just ask questions of that person or that company, and same for the others.
Okay.
Uh,
Anybody want to go first?
Well, we currently have Priority, so why don't we have Dan come up? I know, Dan, you represent Priority Waste. We deal with Dan quite a bit with, obviously with the city administration does to solve any issues at Priority Waste with their service. So maybe Dan, you can explain how that's going and you know what you think about the RFP and what you can do for the city.
Wonderful. Good evening. Dan Benet with Priority Waste. Nice to see all of you again, and Happy New Year. Appreciate the time. I'll kind of run through our proposal, at least from a high level, and interject if you have any questions at the point that I'm talking to. For scope of service, your scope will not change. The service, the way that is rendered, carts, cans, and bags will be collected. Bulk items will be collected on the same day. Your door side and inside service will still be run with mini trucks. That way they can navigate through those windy, long, narrow driveways that are all around the city. Our crews that operate in the city will maintain the 2 service days that we have in the city. As of the last 5 months, we've been sharing data to you and to the city manager to share with you all. We're averaging 3 or so misstops a day, which is far below what you would say is like an average for the industry per 1,000 touches. I know that that's a significant improvement from what was maybe the 6 months prior. One of the hardest levels of service in your city is inside and door side, frankly, because of the type of service that requires, the professional driver that has to be there. You know, the professional is entering private property in sense, so we make sure that we hire qualified, background checked individuals that we trust to go into your neighborhoods and your backyards and your garages in some cases. And to do that with any other form of service other than a mini truck would be very problematic. If you look at a neighboring city, let's say Sterling Heights, their houses are more 60 by 60 next door, short walkways up to the driveway. You could walk those, but your city is very different because of the elevation, the dips and turns in those driveways. So what we recognized in the May, June timeframe of this summer is we needed to overhaul those mini trucks, and we placed an order in August for 100 or so trucks in total, many of, and to the count of, I think it's 9 or 10 mini trucks to come in, because we knew that the ones that we had were having the service issues that we all experienced in those months that I described before. We expect those to come in next year. And what that will do is give us a little bit more ability to shift and maneuver when a truck goes down, because we'll have more reserve. They're going to be quieter trucks because they're newer. They're going to be a little bit of a different design. We looked at the way that the ones we have now, and we looked at a couple different options to make sure that debris doesn't spread when we're leaving the driveways, because obviously we want to make sure everything is captured inside the can, as well as making sure that they're not too long or too short so we have capacity. Inside and door side, again, you have 3 commodities potentially. You have your trash and your recycling and your compost. And you know, I'll just speak to it, our pricing on door side is substantially different than our competitor's proposal. I don't know how the figure they came to, but I can talk to how we got to ours. Now, we're currently charging about $25 to $30 less per quarter if you look at the current rates to the proposed rates. Obviously, the cost of service labor has gone up. We also look at the cost of the trucks and the vehicles has gone up. So we had to modestly look at that and say, okay, if this optional service is elected into by the resident, this is what we need in order to make sure that we do get those new trucks, that we provide exceptional service, and we don't have the issues that we ran into last year. And we want that to continue all the way through. But what we tried to do is take a look at the core level of service, the ones that your residents have to have, which is at the curbside, and we did take a decrease in that current price. And it's minimal, it's not very much, but where you can save even more is our annual payment incentive. So you still maintain that 1 month free in our annual payment. So if you pay for the whole year, you would get 8.33% less on that, which is even more savings for those residents. So we really looked at the whole picture and tried to make the service be as it feels today, as well as look at ways that, hey, we have to fix some things that we know are problematic. And frankly, I know it's frustrating when your doorside or curbside, or doorside or inside service doesn't get completed. So we wanted to make sure that we priced it to where we felt that we had the equipment and we can perform the service without any service-related issues. I'll answer any questions that you may have, or
You don't have the smaller trucks yet?
we have them now. We're just getting new ones. So the ones that we have now are aged, and I've told Mr. Hendrickson this, they're varying in style. So we have a couple different chassis and a couple different Packer rears. So when you have 12 mini trucks and 7 of them, like 7 different manufacturers on different parts, it's hard to carry inventory of replacement parts, which causes a backlog. Also, because it's not the most used vehicle in our industry, those parts are harder to find. The manufacturers are harder to keep. So by us kind of uniformly transitioning this fleet will give us more flexibility to have uniformity, right? So flexibility meaning more vendors to go to for parts, but uniformity, and we'll have the parts will be more universally able to capture.
But the ones that you ordered last August, you said how many, 100?
We ordered 100 total trucks in August of 2025.
Is that for,
That's not just for Bloomfield, though.
Correct, that's over all of our, that's for all of our fleet.
And you cover all of West Bloomfield, you cover multiple cities.
Correct, we have 37 total assets in our.
How many would be dedicated to our community?
Yeah, new vehicles, so the mini truck would be new. The 3 vehicles that run in the city currently are 2023 model years or 2022 model years, which is in good shape and condition standardly by hour. So I wouldn't say you'd necessarily get a brand new vehicle, but what you may see is 1 or 2 of those swapped out for a new vehicle or increase in the vehicle year that you have. So get it closer to like current model year.
So you're buying new vehicles, but you're not using them for our city?
We're buying new
You're
vehicles
using-
for the mini truck, yes. We'll be getting you brand new vehicles for the mini truck.
are you doing?
But you're not using them for Bloomfield Hills? We don't get 3 new vehicle trucks, 2 mini trucks
Correct.
dedicated to us?
Correct. The reason is your trucks aren't in disrepair. Your trucks are operating, giving us very few mechanical issues.
Then why are you always complaining that they're breaking down and that's why you can't pick up my trash? And many people in my neighborhood, and someone on Cranbrook just told me she went 3 weeks without having her trash picked up. And we call the city, and they're very kind to communicate with you, and then you communicate with me, and I've been emailing. And it's just unfortunate that we had the prior vendor, you guys took over, and immediately we were not getting our trash picked up from January to March. And you said it was the vehicles, but you purchased the exact same vehicles that were religiously picking up our trash until you bought the company. So I am very impressed with you. I think you're probably trying very hard, and I appreciate all that you're saying, and it's great that you're buying new vehicles, but I still get complaints. We got an email last week from a random, out of the blue. I get stopped at Costco today by another resident saying, you know, I have not had my trash picked up. You know, it's been 3 weeks, another person. So I struggle with, you're very forthright with solutions, and you say you're trying, but it's been over a year, and things are not necessarily getting better. Our trash needs to be picked up. It's a really important part of what the city does for the residents. And I struggle with any proof that the pickups will be more consistent, and I struggle with any proof that the situation will get better.
So, going back to June and July, that was kind of when we had the more significant problems with those mini trucks. It was primarily derived from issues that we identified and were working through in really March and April, but we were trying to find suppliers for those parts, kind of what I was talking to before. Getting the parts for these trucks were more problematic. And then that carries over and carries over as we continue to struggle to find these unique parts for those vehicles. So we found them in California, Arizona, Texas, and wherever, and got them shipped so we could get services back up and running. That's where, you know, August, September, October, November, December, where I've been sharing data with the city manager, service has improved. I'm not saying perfect. And by golly, I'd love to say we will be perfect, and I would love to say anybody.
I'm not asking for perfect. I'm
But-
asking
and I
for
agree, it had-
consistent. I mean, 3
Yeah.
weeks in a row, and for us, it was 3 months in a row.
Yeah.
I mean, I had to call every week to beg someone to come.
And I hope that in the last 4 or 5 months, as I've described, things have
And
gotten.
still inconsistent. Better, I mean, you showed up occasionally, but I can't say it's been regular.
Yeah, one of my friends, you've enriched one of my friends who's a city lawyer on the east side, because I think there was a lot of the lawyers were organizing some, if it was your company, it was Priorities, the big group on the east side. You know, your rates are lower. We have a couple people here, maybe 4, who are very cynical about whether this can be done. I see some cities, like a little bit larger than our city, they have their own garbage service, like in Trenton, they have their own garbage service. And it's expensive to get the trucks. They have a way of feeding off to the Wayne County trough, which is the federal trough, for money to buy their trucks for them, to an extent. And I mean, your rates, would you ever accept an option for us to withdraw after 1 year if we sign an agreement like that? I'm just wondering, because I know you're doing better than you were, even though not as good as we want. We're perfectionists too, so tell me.
So I know that entering into any contract with any company is a concern, right? You want to make sure that performance is done at a high level. What I've talked with the city manager, and what was mentioned in the RFP, was to put in measures to hold us accountable for things that are not done to an acceptable level. And I know that our team will come to the table in the contract negotiation, if we're lucky enough to be awarded, to allow for those clauses to be included. So that way we have some skin in the game if service is not improved to the standard that you require.
Are you saying that you would refund the residents for each time that their trash is not picked up?
No, it's
I mean, it is really unacceptable. It's not, we're not talking perfection. It is not just inconsistent, it's like you're not picking up the trash.
It was non-existent.
Yeah.
You know, and you know that because Jack Dolan is, you know, I've been seeing Jack, the lawyer out of the east side, for the last 4 months. You know, I know what they're doing. And are you sure, you know, are you really ready to do a job that's decent if we give it to you? That's going to be the question.
Commissioner Buckley, do you have any?
Would you be willing to put in a termination clause that we could exercise after a short period of time without cause, so that we're not,
With penalty.
well, just determine, just to, you know, if we're not happy, because it is a long-term agreement, fairly, what is it, 5 years with a 3-year term, 3-year extension, so, I mean, would you be willing to entertain a termination without cause provision on our part?
Yeah, I mean, what I would say to that is in every contract, there are, again, the kind of liquidated damages and cure periods that we have to adhere to. So if an issue is not resolved in a reasonable time, you know, and I'm not a lawyer, so I'm trying not to overstep or oversay anything, but it's common to have terms in a contract that says if it's not at X level, a priority company has X amount of days to cure this issue. If it's not cured, then it enters into a next level of potential contract cancellation. And again, that's, you know, for the lawyers to work in the negotiation. And again, what I'm saying is whatever we have to resolve in that negotiation to make everybody on the commission, the city, in the city's office comfortable, we'll be willing to do so within reason. I mean, for you to say without any question you can cancel it, that would be a difficult one, just like any other contractor you work with, right? But within reason, have it be defined with the lawyers and the dotting of i's and t's. We absolutely do that in all of our contracts.
Well, we shouldn't have to prove that you know, with an affidavit that every person didn't get their trash picked up has to sign something and prove it, and then you
No.
have to go to I just am not convinced. I mean, you say you're buying these trucks, then you say they're not gonna be dedicated to our city. And you say the problems have all stemmed from the trucks not working and not getting the parts, but then there's no solution. I don't see a solution. I don't see a remedy. And if there is one, it's not till those trucks come in. Even if you dedicate one of your trucks, I don't see how anything is gonna be, the situation's gonna be better.
I apologize, maybe I wasn't eloquent in what I was describing. So the issue with trucks in the city of Bloomfield Hills is the mini trucks. Our larger vehicles that are doing the standard level of service, those we're not having issues with. Those are standard Peterbilt, Mack, with Heil bodies primarily. So those parts we have available. It's the mini trucks that I believe your house is elected into that service where we're having the part issue. So we had to kind of makeshift a solution in that period before we got those parts. Now what we're doing is we looked at the whole picture and said, we found out what the issue is, which is too many trucks with too many varying parts. Let's uniform that truck style. So when a truck goes down, we have a part available. We don't have 7 different parts we're trying to work on. So like a Ford part doesn't fit on a GM vehicle. And while you may have universal parts in some cases, other parts are very specific.
So you're selling some trucks and buying new trucks?
We may be scrapping some vehicles, absolutely, getting rid of them. We've scrapped 285 of the 550 or so GFL vehicles that we received January 1, 2024. 285. We identified roughly.
But that's for all the community.
Yeah, that's all. That's correct. That's all of them. And that may
amazing.
have been a few for Bloomfield Hills. I'm not sure. I'm not in depth with every truck number that we scrapped. So that's where we got 100 vehicles this year, throughout the year, from basically July to the end of the year. The largest chunk came in July and August. And we ordered another 100 because obviously by process of elimination, if we scrap 285, we can't replace it with 100. So we know that 100 more are coming in for next year because again,
You said yourself that our community is not, the big, huge garbage truck kind of community that goes, each house is at least an acre apart. And so those big trucks don't work for 90% of our community, whether you're in-house or not.
No, they do work for 90% of your community because you have 1,708 homes, I think is the total. 1,523 are curbside, and those are serviced with the larger vehicle, except for very few exceptions.
Then I mean, I asked my neighbors and, you know, my garbage cans are thrown in the middle of the driveway, so we can't pull in the driveway unless we get out and move them. LOL. When it rains or snows, I have to get out and dump the water out because they leave the lids open, they leave some yard waste, and take even some, though it's bagged and the same as the way they took, the ones that they did take. So, I mean, I'm sorry, I'm getting bombarded from residents that are really unhappy.
Are those residents?
And
they're
she's curbside.
They're curbside? Are they mainly curbside or are they mainly doorside and inside?
These are curbside.
The complaints, but of all of
That
them?
was, and, you know,
We have so few that are actually doorside and inside. Couldn't you dedicate a couple of your small new trucks to us, the ones that you've ordered?
Oh, yes,
The
for the
mini
mini
versions?
trucks, of course, yeah, the mini trucks that are coming and will come in, and they will replace the ones
Would they
we're
be
servicing.
dedicated for us to do the door side and
Mhm.
inside?
Absolutely, yes,
It will be?
yes.
Oh,
so
I
you can
thought-
promise in the contract? That's a good point, thank
I
you.
thought you said that we were keeping the ones that we had, the ones that weren't, because they didn't have service problems.
No, the larger vehicles, the ones that are running
Oh,
curbside,
larger.
those
So-
we're not having the
so-
mechanical, it's
so
the mini trucks.
How many of the mini trucks have you ordered that would be dedicated to Bloomfield Hills residents?
I believe we ordered 10 or 11 of the mini trucks, and you run 2 on your service days, so you would have the 2.
You would have two.
So could you put it in the contract if we select you, that the new ones would be used for our city?
Upon arrival, I
They
believe,
would be
again, I'm
dedicated
not a
to
lawyer.
The first,
Yeah. not a
that's an
lawyer,
easy
yeah.
thing to say.
Yeah.
Yes, the new ones will be used for our city.
Contractually, and I don't know what legally we can put into there, but what I can do is, I can guarantee that we get the trucks in there as soon as I just don't know when they're coming in. So for me to say, you want them April 1st, if they don't
All
come
I
in.
said was, when you get a new one, that you will promise in the contract that you will dedicate the new ones, however many we use, to our
So
city.
if I said,
First.
when they
First.
come in, they come to your city in this contract, in this first, year, as long as they.
No, as
come-
soon as you receive the
Yes.
new trucks, that those new trucks would be dedicated to Bloomfield Hills.
Yes.
May I ask, I've heard also that West Bloomfield, you service them, and there's been some really incredible issues there. Can you speak to that, please?
Do you have anything in, like,
I just heard that
particular?
it's in the news. I didn't read the article. Another person was telling me, have you heard about West Bloomfield? They use priority and they're having huge issues.
Yeah, I believe I know what you're speaking to, the Rotor Association that we had the issue to. And I don't wanna, say anything disparagingly against the person or persons that went to the news, but the story was not exactly how it was described. That neighborhood is a, Friday on my recollection. Their, service day after, New Year's would have been on a Saturday. That was also during the inclement weather that we experienced on that Saturday with snowfall and rainfall and freezing rain. There were some issues servicing. Sunday is a non-running day. We went back on Monday. The issue kind of still remained. We made 2 attempts. We paused, completed Tuesday, and then went back again on Wednesday. I believe that's when it was recovered, but not everybody had it out because it was a few days. Now, there's only, we can only contact those that we have information for, and I believe there was 1 or 2 residents that we were in contact with. They may not have been in contact with all of their neighborhood, and word may have not gotten out. So that's why they didn't have their stuff back out on that Wednesday when we made that return. So obviously, the following Friday, we went in and we had no issue, but the news report had already been written.
It had to be a pretty big issue to hit the news, more than just one missed pickup.
Well, I mean, to be fair, it was this street, that community, there was, I think it's 81 or so homes in that neighborhood that we had issues with access. And I think anybody, any service provider would have had access issues in that neighborhood.
So as I see it, from what we hear, first of all, trash pickup is number 1. We want it every single week. That's all there, I mean, there's like, in my mind, there's no exception to that whatsoever. But there's other issues too. So that's number 1. Number 2, customer service, you know, calling you guys, I have to call him because I can't get you guys to pick up the phone. Or someone doesn't answer right. So customer service is not very good. The third issue I have, and I don't think anybody else does, but billing. You bill me 3 times a year, even though I pay for the 1 year and for the whole year in advance. And every time I call, I get a different answer, and you do to my neighbors too. And unfortunately, my neighbor pays it because she thinks she owes it. So that's another one. And then this one might not be a big deal, but it's a pet peeve of mine, and I think it's a pet peeve of the brand of this city. If I see one more royal blue trash can with priority waste sitting on the side, you know, we had a contract with you of trash cans. Each person was supposed to get 2 trash cans, a recycled, and we wanted them specifically to be black so that it blends in. It's not like all this different colors. And I think you delivered on those, but then when people moved or people needed another one or something like that, apparently, as Dave told me, you guys ran out of them. So you just decided to start delivering blue ones. So this may sound like just petty, but customer service and getting your bills right and delivering on what your contract was, and ultimately picking up the trash. Nobody should have to call to pick up the trash. And if it wasn't for him or Amy or anybody in the city hall who they call the city to complain and then the city has to call you to do that work, that should not happen. That's not their job. So unless we have some assurance that all these things are going to be fixed, I find it hard to go with you again. You telling us for the last 20 minutes or 10 minutes that you're getting small cars is not fixing all of these other issues.
Yeah, so with customer service, there's been a improvement, not perfection, on our customer service that we're aiming to get to. What we've seen in your queue, the call line that you have, is an average of 6 minutes, which we want it to be below 5 for hold time. That does take into account the high call volumes and even after hour calls, unfortunately, lump into that. So if you called after hours and you stayed online, regardless, we are looking at self-service prompts to where if it is after hours, you can, record your name and your address and allow that to flow into our service portal. We do have a online portal specific to the city that residents can go into, and if they have the means and capability to log on to their computer or on their phone, report a misstop, and that goes right into our log. That's allows for live updates via text message or email, SMS, if the resident chooses to elect into updates. So that's another thing that's rolled out really in the last 5 months. So it's in its infantile state. Word has probably not spread with communities that have started a billing cycle. We put out a newsletter or a letter with that, and we have been introducing it with them, and we've seen significant usage rate with that, as opposed to trying to call. So calls are going down, which means wait times are also dropping, because those that have the ability to just go in there and log it can do so within 30 seconds. I say it's Dan-proof because it's just required fields, and you just hit send and it goes in without an issue. So those are things that we're trying to do. We're not trying to eliminate customer service and the interaction on the phone, because we do love those, but we want to try and make it easier for those with the capability, or just ones that just want to get it off their plate without being on the phone. On the billing side, the same thing. It's a little bit more difficult. Billing is always very unique because every situation is different. And I remember looking at your case that had a distinction on the account that didn't flow from GFL, and it had no history of that, so I apologize that happened. But like on the road, we have 52 touches a year for your service, right? With billing, we only have 4. And in the first year, we started at the beginning at the start of the second quarter. So really, the biggest, I guess, chunk of work was already done. It was done in March, with your April invoice for the year. So if that information was accurate from the previous provider, it would have been just copacetic carry on. However, we did have some that didn't have carry distinctions like yours that didn't flow into our system or show that that was that on the account. So again, on the billing side, we're also looking at a self-service option. So I call Xfinity, and if I'm just looking for an update on my account, they can tell me what my balance is, what my statement was last month, and what it is to this month, and I can do it just by following their prompts. We don't have that capability yet, but that's something that's coming, and it doesn't happen overnight. We rushed through getting the new phone system online in the second half of 2024. Now we're looking at ways to optimize everything, and it does take time. Unfortunately, I can't give you a hard date on when that's going to go live because it is well beyond my knowledge and scope. IT is not my friend. I still write checks. So there are things that that we're trying to do to make things faster that just aren't quite live yet. We want the bugs to be worked out.
Okay.
But you've been working on that since '24?
We've been working on the billing prompts since the middle of this summer. So it's been 6 or 7 months. It's a very intense process, and getting paired with the right company to have the right prompts.
So you
that
haven't
works with our
selected a
system.
company yet to
No,
fix it?
we have the company now, but they have to work, again, way above my IT level, but our billing system and software and a phone system and software are two different things, right? So we had to find one that could work with our billing software and the phone software. And then they have to go in deep dive and make the connections. Because heaven forbid, you call and you get her account information, right? We have to make sure that they jive together. And unfortunately, the waste space is very archaic in a lot of the technology and like the IT pieces. So we've been working with companies to bring this all together. So like I said, it's something coming down the line that I can't give to you, but it's just something that we know will help everybody with billing related issues.
Would you be willing to take a liquidated damage clause for all the old ladies, widows who pay you 3 times for 3 quarters for a year each? And when you get caught, then we won't have this problem of you billing people who already paid for the whole year. Notice I don't say the
Reimburse the people that pay more than once.
Oh, yeah, of course, if a resident accidentally pays duplicate, yeah, we
You
would
don't, the better thing is you don't bill them.
refund them.
Yeah, but they already paid, you shouldn't be billing them again.
Correct, yeah, and not to go into the nuts and bolts, but if somebody makes a payment, but it doesn't reflect the right account number and we apply it to the wrong account, then it gets cleared up. We immediately issue a refund to that resident. Or allow them, if they want, a credit on the account if the next billing cycle is coming up. But yeah, I mean, there are billing mistakes that we make, of course, and we'll make those right 100% of the time as fast as possible.
You do it for 300% of the time. If you give me a second bill the month the next quarter, you're gonna pay me back 3 times because a lot of us do that and pay annual fees when we get the bill because we have a habit of just writing checks as soon as we get billed. I just want you to think about that, because
yeah.
it's something our city, our lawyer is capable and he'll figure out
Yeah.
what we mean, I think.
Mayor, so just wanted to ask, I'm not sure if you wanted to hear anything from
Yeah, I
the
was.
main person that handles our garbage complaints and understands customer service and things of that nature is John. He's our code enforcement officer. I have him come here tonight just in case the commission wanted to talk to someone that actually, I deal with complaints. I talk with Dan. But to be honest with you, I ship all those complaints to John. He's the boots on the ground. So I don't know, John, if you wanted to ask him anything, or if you have anything to say at all.
You guys want to fire away first? Go ahead. Any questions or have a couple comments if you want that.
We would love your
Yeah,
input.
yes.
So
You're-
I'll say this, what Mr. Benet's saying here, when these complaints come in, most of the residents understand human error. It happens once in a while. The repeat errors are a bit much at times. Mostly, like Dan said, it's the houses that are a little bit more trickier to access. longer driveways, secluded, winding driveways. I found that, sometime, Dana said it, some of the drivers, whether, somebody's sick or on vacation, whatever it may be, they don't know the total routes, especially the secluded homes. That happens. When these complaints come in, and the biggest thing is, like you said, the, customer service, people get frustrated. That's the biggest thing. They're on the phone, they're not getting answered, they're frustrated. That's when they call the city. But I'll say this, when they call the city, it either comes to me or the clerks up front here. We get a hold of Dan and, Nicole. Those are almost 100% of the time. Those complaints are either, they're picked up that day or the day after. Just about 100% of the time. That's what I see. So, it's improved greatly in my mind. I think some of the people who don't get their trash picked up for 3 weeks, they probably don't report it every time. I think that's part of the problem. If they reported it the first week, it'd probably be taken care of these days. Maybe not 6 months ago, but going forward, it's been pretty accurate getting these picked up, I'll say that.
What about customer service?
So, like I said about customer service, the phone calls, that's where the frustration comes in. And I'm usually contacted after that. They're tired of waiting on the phone, or maybe an email's not, not returned. That's when they call me, or they call, again, the clerks up front. But when we get to Dan after that, the problem's usually fixed that day or the next day, I can say that.
We shouldn't have to call the city every time we want our trash picked up.
You're gonna get the calls though.
How many people are dedicated to the phones on a regular work date?
For the city or in total?
For this, yeah, you were gonna have a dedicated phone line for our city because we've had so many problems. And is there a person, an employee, that answers that phone from 8 in the morning till 5 in the evening every single day of the week?
Correct. So he mentioned Nicole. Nicole is the primary. Now, your service days are Tuesdays and Wednesdays. That would be, Wednesdays and Thursdays would be our largest call days for your community. Because day after, right, you don't report it on the day of. So Nicole answers your calls. If ever Nicole is taking her lunch break, Caroline, her manager, as well as 2 others in support, will pick up the phone line for her. So if she's ever stepped away. Caroline is also, what's the word? Kind of like a safety in football. She also covers when call volumes peak. So let's say in Nicole's queue, there's 3 people on the line. She's on the line with 1. Caroline is like her manager. She'll dispatch out 2 others to jump in to assist. And they're from neighboring communities or watch neighboring communities, or at least are familiar with your service. We do have a playbook that has like your service definitions, because they're very different here than anywhere else as far as the inside, the door side, the type of service, the who's, what's, where's, and why's. So those items are in that playbook, and Caroline is the one running the play to get it to others so that the call volume, the wait times can go down. We're still looking at ways to, again, to optimize and automate, which will help dramatically as well on getting people to a resolution without having to sit on it. So to answer you, we have
But
one
you've been-
dedicated with.
How long
3
have you been
each
serving our community?
other. 1.5 years.
And we still don't have this figured out, this phone thing, the customer complaint. You still don't have that resolved. It's already been 1.5 years. So that's my concern. It's not like it's been 4 months. It's been 1.5 years,
Yeah.
and it's still a 6-minute wait time. Or I
What
struggle with what's gonna be new that is,
I think we have the answer provided. We have someone here who's gonna be hearing a lot more from us, that's all. That's what's gonna happen.
Well, we have Express here.
yeah, we should move on, I'm sorry.
Probably should move on, I'm not sure who is, gonna talk, Dan?
Thank you, Dan.
Dan, come on up and introduce yourself, who you are, discuss the RFP and your services that you provide.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to bid on this. My name is Dan Garman. I don't know if I have to give my address listed on the thing, 3145 North Irish Road, Davison, Michigan, 48423. I have been in the city before, as I was the backup to Don Beretta for many years for both Rizzo and for GFL as your backup salesperson. So when Don was out during COVID, that was me that was coming in here, and so I got to know the city pretty well. I don't think anybody around thought that Express was gonna get back into the municipal business. They were doing very successful. They purchased compost disposal, and things were moving well. They were mostly based in doing commercial industrial waste, a lot of front-loading business. But as the market over the last year and a half, 2 years, has turned into a little bit, say, chaotic with the municipal waste, lots of calls. I had a very large book of business with GFL that I was servicing. West Bloomfield was my account for almost 20 years. So I worked closely with the supervisor and the clerk there. And so we had some meetings and came together, and we put together a very strong team in the municipal business to move forward, with this being the second community that we've even put a bid in on. West Bloomfield was as well. They have not made a determination since they went out to bid. But we put together a very strong team. While our references, we don't have right now a current municipal contract. We haven't started that, so every piece of equipment we would have would be brand new. Your service days would continue to be the same. Everything would be within either brand new or within a year old, all the equipment that's on your streets. Not to mention, you talked about door side, inside. That was started when you guys were serviced by Rizzo Services. Jeff Rizzo was the operations manager when that was started in the community. He will be the operations manager that's handling that. It's in our RFP. Not to mention, for almost a decade, your supervisor that checked in at the end of the day twice a week, Steve Kress, would be your supervisor again. So when you look at our experience, I have experience here being the backup sales guy. It wasn't the point, but I was the backup. And during COVID, I was the guy that was handling any issues during the COVID time period, as well as Steve, who was the supervisor for your route with these exact services for almost a decade, granted with another hauler, but he is now part of our team. New equipment on the streets. When it comes to customer service is what I think our strength would be. Nobody that's a resident in East Michigan would say that Rizzo Environmental didn't give them the best services. That was handled by Jeff Rizzo and a lot of the people on the team that we've put together that were managing the operations. And you can say, hey, there was some negative press about the Rizzo business that happened. Those parts are not there. This is the operation team that was put together that was giving great service to the community. If there's any questions about the bids, I'd be glad to answer them. But the experience that we have is very strong when it comes to municipalities. It's just, this would be the first opportunity we'd have. And you talked about, with the previous hauler, with priority, you talked about, well, you know, you're strong with us. Do you want to be, take care of the residents? We have to take care of you and your residents. If we want to grow our business at all, we have to make you the top priority, because you can't grow your business if you don't have a strong reference from your first customer. We don't want to grow it huge. We want to service a very small amount of communities and do a very good job at it.
Who was there before Rizzo? Was it you had private haulers or that?
Here you guys had, it became a single hauler contract, and Rizzo won that contract previously.
Who was there before that single hauler contract? We had like three.
You had like 5 haulers here.
We had 5, so.
Like Onyx,
Yeah.
Advanced, Duncan Disposal, you had Rizzo, you had Waste Management, you had Republic.
But didn't the residents, that's
Pick-
when
they picked and
the
chose.
residents set it up and paid for it. And then
Right.
we put it on a ballot and said, hey, do you want to have a single waste hauler? Because what was happening is all of these different waste haulers were coming into the city, these big heavy trucks, and
Right.
it was all different days. So you had big trucks every single Monday through Friday driving on our roads, and they were tearing them up. I mean, it was just, you just didn't know. You always had
Right.
So we put it on a ballot, and it was, I think, pretty unanimously, wasn't it, Amy? They said yes, one hauler comes in And, you know, it's paid for through we do the contract, residents pay for it, and that was done and Rizzo won the bid.
Correct.
And that started probably 10 years ago?
It would have been, I think, 2013.
Yeah, 13,
Yeah,
so
that's
it's been a while.
Because in 2012, I was part of the single hauler first contract for West Bloomfield, and they did it right before you guys.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and it was based on the same thing, 5, 6, 7 different companies coming down the same streets
5 days a
during
week.
the week. Yeah, it was chaos.
It was chaos. It was-
Crazy.
I will also let you know that I oversaw the billing for West Bloomfield, which was 24,000 households. So to handle the billing to oversee the billing for 1,700 households to make sure everything runs smoothly would not be a problem. I also answer my phone 24 hours a day, and we have 4 customer service people. Now granted, currently, they don't have a lot to do. We don't get a lot of calls in commercial, industrial, and front load business as to issues or problems. So I'm sure at the very beginning, I also believe the communication that you have with the residents is really important. That launch letter, when you take over a community, you can answer a lot of questions, you can get a lot of data to them and make it be a good resource. You also have online that's a good resource. Talking to people is a good resource. I truly believe that word of mouth is a great resource too, is if you answer your phone. You guys talked about not answering the phone. I think that would be the strength of our company, would be the customer service and the way your residents thought about their service.
Do you have mini trucks, and if so, how many mini trucks?
Everything would be bought. You would buy 3 mini trucks to service your community, because you can't have one short. Because if one goes down, you still have to have one in backup. So you'd have 3. You'd always have one
So your
extra.
company doesn't buy the trucks, we buy the trucks?
No, we would.
Yeah,
No, we would
okay.
buy new.
Okay.
I'm just saying, when you start a community, you always have to have backups.
Right.
You can't be short. So if you see my proposal, everything is set up with a backup. Just like you have an extra loader, you have an extra driver available, so in case you
So
have a
what's the
call.
lead time to purchase these mini trucks?
So you want us to start in 72 hours, I'll have trucks.
Okay.
Now, they may start as rentals to buy, but they'll be brand new, or they'll be within a year old. That's why I said the year old. We like to have brand new, but sometimes those, as he said before, brand new ones sometimes have lead times, but you can get ones that are rentals that are 6 months old. And then you can purchase those or rent them while you're getting the new ones to come in.
So, another question, I saw your bins that you have, so those are good. You kind of mimicked what we had, right?
We're gonna purchase ours from Cascade Engineering in Grand Rapids, a Michigan-based company. They come in whatever color you want. Their preferred color is black, which plays into exactly what you guys have, and they have enough in stock that you could have them delivered by the end of the week.
So, and then also, what about, like other bulk items or something? If it's at the road, you're gonna take it, or do you have to
I think
call
that's
and tell
quoted
them?
in there. We'll
I
take
saw
anything,
that.
anything at the curb.
Anything at the curb?
Yep.
Even if I put
If
my
you go
house
back to
there?
the way that Jeff Rizzo ran the company, was you pick up everything at the curb to work here. It's
Okay.
gonna stay that way.
Okay, that's,
You guys, you mentioned the cancellation, sir. 60-day, 90-day. I don't know about no cause, because I would prefer you to not like the shirt I'm wearing when I walk in the door to say hello, but if it's based on service, if we write the language based on the service level, we'll guarantee our service.
okay, so if you breach the contract in any way,
As long as it's service related.
Related, it's
yeah.
service related,
As long as we're
okay.
picking it, I mean, we just want to say, if we're picking up the trash, we're not leaving a mess, we're doing our job right, we want to be able to keep the job.
And
Which
do
is,
you
I
have the
also-
drivers yet, or you'd have to go through?
We have a
hiring
very
process?
good stream on drivers when they're needed. Good drivers are working in today's world. So we just know the drivers that when we get work, we'll have drivers. And if you want, we can have them here, and you can meet the drivers within 30 days of start, so you know that they're already hired and ready to go. Like I said, the supervisor you guys had for a decade, we've already hired. We're anticipating growth in Oakland County.
okay? Okay, any other questions? Commissioner Buckley?
None at all, thank you.
Commissioner Fisher?
All set, thank you.
Thank you.
You all set? Thank you very much. You all set?
Yes.
So, as I understand it, we have to vote on this tonight in order to be able to make, an April 1st, is that correct?
Yes, we'd like the commission to direct me to enter into a contract negotiations with our city attorney and and whichever company to, have a contract ready by April 1st, and we would bring it back to you at the February meeting.
Mark, that's good?
Yes.
You okay with that then?
Yes.
And, okay. Does anybody have a motion? Do we have a motion, a recommendation? Do you want conversation?
I'd like to make the motion, but I'd like to know for sure who,
Okay.
what we're making it for,
That's fine.
so.
Your thoughts, Commissioner Fisher? We'll start with you.
I would like to give Express a try, because I really respect Dan, but I'm concerned that, the service is not consistent, and the billing and the customer service is not, appropriate, so I would like to try the other company.
Commissioner Ackerman?
Last year was pretty rough. I think going somewhere else may, with the right outs, may be the right way to go. I have to agree with Ms. Fisher.
Do you want my decision? Okay. Dan, you have done cartwheels to try to service this community. You really have. And we appreciate it and everything that you've done. But, I am a firm believer in giving a company, it doesn't scare me to have a new company come in that doesn't have references, because I think you work doubly hard when you're coming in and doing it for the first time. Because if you aren't successful here, you will not be successful anywhere. And our residents are, they just want their trash picked up. They want simple things. It's not over demanding. So, my tendency is to go with Express. Not my tendency, I am favoring Express and seeing what we can get done.
Alice, you want to make the motion, or you want me to make it?
So it's
I think she's
Express
gonna
Waste.
make it.
Yes, I move that we select Express Waste Services for the purpose of initiating contract negotiations for solid waste removal services. It being understood that this approval is specifically conditioned upon Express's agreement to contract terms and conditions which are consistent with the RFP, with all priorities identified by the city and acceptable to the city and the city commission within their sole discretion. The city may, in its sole discretion, at any time elect to terminate negotiations and proceed with another provider. Is
Second.
everyone okay with that?
Yes.
Sounds very nice, thank you.
Anybody want to second that?
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I would just want to say publicly too, the city expects priority to fulfill their contract until the new contract is in place.
Of course.
So I know how it's gonna be, when you're losing a bid on something, but the level of service still has to be there. The answer that Dave and Amy give cannot be, we're trading, waste haulers, because the residents are gonna say that's not our problem. So if you would mind relaying that they would adhere to the contract.
Absolutely, without question.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, next, ready to go on to the next item?
Yes, Mayor?
Okay. The fifth item on the agenda is the commission will discuss 2026 city commission goals.
Just wanted to put it back out there for the commission to, if anybody had any recommendations for city commission goals. Our staff, department heads met last week for our internal goals. And so we have things that we want to get done this year, but I just want to make sure that we do everything that the city commission wants us to do this year.
I think some of the commissioners have written some out, and do you want to read them, or do you want us to collectively give them to you, and then we look at them? How do you want to do this?
You can discuss them, and we'll look back at the minutes, and I'll know what to do.
Well, they're
I have some ideas, I'm sure.
they're prepared
The other
to.
commissioners do, but
Yep,
I'm
go
happy
ahead.
to defer
No.
after they. Would you like to go ahead?
Oh, well, I just had one, just to sort of describe what it is. I think it's a good idea to update our ordinance revision and creation policy so that all proposed ordinance changes and new ordinances flow first through the city commission for us to just look at it and then pass it on to whoever gets it or to request a report, so that it would enable us to provide further direction and to track the progress. Because I think one of my frustrations is I don't know necessarily what's being worked on, especially in the planning commission. I will now that I'm on it, but when I wasn't, I didn't. So I don't have the language here to put it together, but that's the concept. You know, we have that ordinance policy that is a city commission policy, and I just thought maybe it could be updated and just sharpened a little. I mean, I can put it together and add it to.
I thought we hired a company to do stuff like that. The company we used out of Texas, that they were gonna write ordinances
Well,
or
they're-
something, or what are
They're
they?
implementing a software program. They're
No, I just
implementing our
mean-
existing
I just
ones.
mean when we make changes, like the ones that are in the planning commission right now, those ordinances that you're working on, I mean, those are already out there, but if a new one should come up, that the city commission just be notified of it and we can discuss it.
Oh, you want us to be notified when an ordinance
Yes.
comes up?
Yeah, when
Dave?
changes, and that way we can track it and.
That's a great idea.
Mm-hmm, that's fine, yeah.
I think it's a good idea, and then you can direct whoever to get it done in whatever time period, and then, I could, even with this company that we hired, I could make sure that you know our process and know which ordinances they're looking at. And we'll ultimately pass everything down, but I could probably just, to comply with that, if this is what you're talking about, just to make sure that you're informed and
Yes.
and are you saying that when someone has like an idea, that make sure it's vetted first through the
Yes.
city, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We might ask for somebody to provide us with a report or a draft or, you know, something, or, you know,
Is that
if it's a
appropriate then?
zoning ordinance, it would go to the zoning, it would go to the planning commission. Yes.
Is that appropriate, Mark?
I think it would be helpful to have city commission direction on just a conceptual basis. So we're not wasting a lot of time at the planning commission drafting language that the city council's gonna ultimately reject. So in addition to keeping everybody advised, I think it would be helpful to have that positive direction from the city commission. You know, the planning commission, part of their task is to look at how ordinances are being implemented and maybe consider adoption of either amendments or new regulations. I don't think it's inappropriate to come up with an idea and send it up to the city commission for review and approval before they start the drafting process. I think it would save time.
Oh, so you're saying, you get the idea, the planning commission or the subcommittee gets the idea, they show the city commission first, we say, yeah, general concept, fine, but we're not writing it, it's going back to
No.
the subcommittee to write it.
I'm addressing the planning commission because of the ordinances they deal with are the zoning ordinances,
Yes, right.
which require them to hold a public hearing and make a recommendation to city council.
Yes.
But this would apply to all ordinances.
Uh-huh.
And some of
So,
them,
you know, a non-zoning ordinance amendment would first come to the city commission
and we
for
might be
review.
working on drafting,
Yeah.
like if it's,
Okay.
you know, one of our ordinances.
Or if I came up with an idea and you didn't like the idea, you could say, Dave, we don't like that idea, so don't stop working on it.
It's a great idea, so you're not spinning your wheels.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea. And, you know, these, I'm gonna mess this up, but just through our work, there's, Microsoft came out with that new click on something, it's like it's like AI, but
Yeah, they all incorporate it right in your, yeah.
you're in a meeting, or you're say these are the things I wanna do, and then you could say to it, write an ordinance for this, and the thing goes, it does it. I mean, the technology today is amazing, but anyway, yeah, it's gonna replace you lawyers.
Us.
It
All of
is,
us.
it is. All of us. But anyway, so I think that's a good idea, and then we can trace them and we know what's going on, and that's, yeah.
And I'll keep you informed, I can either provide reports on like the consent agenda.
Yeah.
We can do that.
Great. Okay. I have a couple of issues, the goals, I just wanna make sure they're goals and they stay in the forefront, because, again, I hear from residents, the main concern is, again, the Woodward's noise, chief. If we could keep, vigilant, efforts to communicate with other communities, see what they're doing, as well as all of your efforts to, you know, reduce the Woodward noise. I know that's a really hot topic and important to all of our residents, especially those who live along there. Another issue, I think, I know I brought this up before, and I know it's more complicated, but there's, someone brought it up again, another resident, the traffic from on Long Lake, crossing over Woodward through to Telegraph, and it's so backed up, and then it's free. So in their mind, you know, why can't you leave the, you know, certain time of day, the traffic signal open 5 seconds longer going this direction, and, you know, release it just that many more seconds? And I said, I think it takes a traffic study, takes a little more in depth than just, you know, flicking the switch on this signal, because you don't want to clog it on the other side. But
Traffic study is a good goal. Traffic study for Long Lake between Woodward and Losser. Is that what you're looking?
yes,
We'll absolutely do that.
okay. And from I know it's, you know, we could collaborate with Bloomfield Village, or I don't know how you say it, Bloomfield Township, because I know it's an issue for their residents too, coming from Lifetime and Telegraph, and
Okay, yeah, we can
they're
absolutely.
very frustrated as well.
Absolutely.
They should have bought the office building at the corner of Square Lake and Telegraph, the southeast corner. I guess it's what I perceive to be south, because if they had 2 extra lanes there, there wouldn't be a problem in Hickory, and there wouldn't be a problem on Long Lake going eastbound. Take a look at it. The reason is because people now get off at Hickory, go down to Losser, and take a left turn up. And that causes all this extra traffic on Long Lake, and that was a misplanning. I think that building's got a tenant in it again. It was empty for years and selling for nothing, relatively nothing. $1 million would have taken care of 300 or 400 hours of sitting at the light per week, per day. And it's a real problem. You got it right. Remember when we came for the interviews, I was late because I got stuck on Long Lake. I thought it was an 8-minute drive. It was 27 minutes. I was shocked. So,
We'll absolutely do a traffic study.
Great, thank you. And I, just one other, it's the 250th birthday of country. I thought if we could incorporate that in our celebration with
Absolutely.
Chief, with your event somehow, I think it would be wonderful somehow. Okay.
Absolutely.
And all the other, you know, continue to maintain a balanced budget, carefully manage taxpayer dollars, all of the items that we always had as goals before. Continue to look for ways to increase city revenue without raising taxes, such as strategic partnerships or grants. Yeah, so. And I'm thrilled that we've got the replacement signs for the dilapidated signs in the city. We've got a plan for that, and we just need to select the follow-through,
You're
select
close.
the font, and so, great.
Very close. Okay, good.
Go ahead.
Alice is next, seniority.
She just had
Oh,
this
she's-
this
okay.
one.
That was it.
I have only 3 things. Of course, Woodward noise is the priority. It's gonna, if you got ADHD, you've got a real problem over there, because it's just, the summer noise has been incredible. But I don't know how we control it. But the things we can control is this 2-year period is going to be when our commission is recognized for doing nothing or making major part of the city a mess. We have at least 5 major pieces of property within a half a mile of where we're sitting right now, that if we don't develop them right, or we don't aid in development correctly, we will embitter our children if they live here. I mean, I can set them off as the vacant Furrier piece of property, at least 1 church, which is selling, maybe a second, and I think there's control over the second already. And the Taubman properties and the properties on the southeast quadrant here. And how we do, and how we, handle these developments and what we do to develop it will change how the community works for the next 35, 40 years. I mean, we clearly need a couple restaurants in this town. And nice restaurants. We clearly do not need a temporary hotel of sorts. We probably need to push more of any office development in the future to be at the far south end of the town. I would like not to have another nonprofit entity having an ugly building on Woodward because of the vanity of some heirs. And I think what we do here is really gonna be serious.
Thank you.
Dave, why don't, we discussed a couple of things of how to do that.
Yeah, I need to turn that into a goal.
Yeah.
So, to turn that into a goal, maybe there could be, some more discussion with the commission. I mean, it sounds like maybe discussion about current zoning, or is that what you're talking about?
I would like us to have some master plan that recognizes the city will survive past 2050 for my 103rd birthday. So, okay, that's what I want. I'm talking about, my kids live here. I want them to have a city they want to call.
I've got some ideas, we can talk about it.
Yeah. I think we should also get Walt Cuter in that, cause he
Absolutely.
wrote that master plan. I mean, he knows it inside and out.
Okay.
So we should probably talk about those. You and I kind of talked about them, looking at it. We're aware of what's going on in the open buildings and everything. And I would say this though too, we have a current building that's for lease, and Dave has thought, had very thoughtful discussions about what's the best thing to put into those current buildings, and staying within the guidelines, of what they're currently zoned for. So I would just say with Dave, he does really think about what is going in where, to what building. And I think the city does that in general when they come in, and so I think you're right, we have a lot of empty ones, we probably need to just keep addressing that. Okay. Any more?
No, thank you. The master plan is something we have to really work through. And with Walter there, there's some real direction, and we can help him.
With the exception of Commissioner Buckley's, I didn't think of that one, but Alan and Lauren took the ones that I was looking at too, so.
I'll put them together for you, and I'll send them out to the commission.
Yeah, why
Thank
don't you
you.
just give them a copy of yours? That's a good one, that has.
Pass it down.
That'll
Give this
help
one to
them.
you, Amy. I can email it to you.
All right, does that help?
Thank you very
Do you
much,
have them?
I appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Next item on the agenda, the commission will hear city manager comments.
I don't have any comments. I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy we got through this process, and no matter what waste removal company the commission ends up with, the city staff will work hard like we always do to make sure it works. I guess that's all I can really say. We'll make sure we continue this city, we provide what we call a concierge service to everybody. We try to do that as best we can as an administration, but we do expect whoever's going to be providing the waste removal to do that also, so we don't have to do it for them.
Okay, and then the last one is the commission will consider other business. Does anybody have anything? Commissioner Ackerman, are you all set?
I'm all set.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
The only thing I'm gonna say is, I want to say hats off to Dave and to Amy and everybody else who, put this together and set this up. I thought it was just very well done in how you had it, and it's efficient. It was efficient for everything, and I think the commission appreciates all of the legwork you did, the pre-prep you did, the putting together the notes and everything. I mean, this could have been like a 3-4 hour meeting, and because of all the work that you guys did ahead of time, we had all the information we needed in front of us.
The
So,
analysis was
the
great.
analysis was great, so
Thank you very much.
thank you for
Thank
doing
you.
that. Okay, do you have a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Second?
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Right. Done. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.